controlling the
Harper investigates the scandal of the school for the precocious.
Right, now, go back to the beginning and concentrate.
Trevor Matthews is 9 years old. He recently completed this, his first full-length opera in German, as part of a school project. Between rehearsals, he's also found time to work on a 400-page novel, which he claims picks up where Finnegan's Wake left off. From the age of 3 months onwards, Trevor Matthews attended this, the Caroline Fletton School for Motivated Children. It's an establishment whose remarkable claim that it can turn any child into a genius would seem, at least in Trevor Matthews' case, to have been thoroughly substantiated. But at what cost? Tonight, we look at the Caroline Fletton School, its founder and its methods, and ask the question, what kind of children is it really producing? Prodigies or merely oddities? New Einsteins or neurotics? Wunderkinds or just plain workaholics?
Wunderkinder. It's plural.
Homo at his most sapiens or enfant at their most terrible. The Caroline Fletton School for Motivated Children is presided over by its founder, Malcolm Fletton. In his classes, children discover they are expected to absorb everything he teaches them, and to absorb it quickly.
And this.
Mark Twain.
And this.
F. Scott Fitzgerald.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, that's right. And this.
Tennessee Williams.
Tennessee Williams, that's right. And what did Tennessee Williams write? Can anyone tell me?
Drivel.
Drivel, that's right.
What I say to the kids and their parents is that if they want to be smart, they're going to have to work hard and fast. There's no time to waste sticking pieces of coloured tissue paper to anything. They're here to acquire information, and that's what we give them.
One of the pieces of information you give to your 6-year-olds is that Tennessee Williams wrote drivel.
Yes.
That's a rather sweeping statement to make, isn't it?
Well, they're only 6-year-olds, remember. You have to simplify things a little for them. When they get older, I teach them that some people don't think he wrote drivel. And then I go on to explain the mental condition these people are suffering from.
At the school, Fletton combines his ethos of diligent, relevant work with a number of highly idiosyncratic theories about the learning process itself.
Right, today's equations are, after me, ready, and
A plus B.
One of which, that rigorously logical disciplines are more easily acquired by children when they are subjected to rhythmic physical exercises, means that algebra, for example, is taught whilst tap dancing.
B equals
B.
and C equals good, and rest.
Languages, Fletton believes, require a more relaxed teaching atmosphere, which is why students of Spanish, for example, spend their lessons immersed in saltwater flotation tanks.
De ferrocarril, por favor. ¿Dónde está?
But whatever the subject and whatever the age of the pupil, throughout the school the predominant attitudes that seem to infect every child, no matter how young, are those of intense competition and ferocious ambition. Penny, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm a barrister.
Fletton's school and his methods have many critics. He responds to these by pointing to the school's undoubted successes, one of the most spectacular of which is 9-year-old Trevor Matthews. But at what cost have these successes been achieved? What have children like Trevor Matthews missed out on?
I don't think I've missed out on anything particularly. I certainly can't think of anything.
Do you play with children your own age?
Thankfully, no.
Why do you say thankfully?
Because they're so boring. They haven't read anything, unless you count The Big Friendly Giant, which I don't.
What are you reading at the moment?
Dostoevsky, but I'm not enjoying it. He's too glib for my taste.
What do you want to be when you...
Oh no, here it comes.
I beg your pardon?
What do you want to be when you grow up? You people all ask the same tedious questions. What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you like being clever? Wouldn't you rather have a train set? And have you heard of Michael Jackson?
Some people might think that
Is it that time already?
Sorry.
You should be, but I doubt you are. You're about to say that some people might think that I'm a brat, aren't you?
No, I was going to ask that...
But what you really mean is that you think I'm a brat, don't you?
No, I was merely going to say
Oh,
that
for
some...
God's sake, why don't you just say it? You know you want to. You're being utterly pathetic.
I was going to say that some people might think that you don't present yourself as a particularly likable person.
A brat, in fact.
If that's the question you'd rather answer.
It's the question you asked, you silly man. I, David something or other, think that you are a brat. Does this upset you? Is that the gist of your question?
All right, yes.
But it doesn't upset me in the slightest. I know you rather it did, but it doesn't. Does it upset you that I think you're a complete moron?
Not particularly.
Well, it should, because I'm seldom wrong. Now, is that it, or are you going to ask me if I've ever seen a yo-yo?
Though Trevor Matthews hardly constitutes the most attractive advertisement for his school, Malcolm Fletton remains unabashed. This is because he regards his system of education as a crusade, and one he fights for reasons he acknowledges are rooted firmly in his own childhood.
It started as a form of rebellion against my father. He hated clever people. He resented them because he'd had virtually no education himself. He could only spell the first 3 letters of his own name, which was Jack.
When Malcolm Fletton grew up and had a child of his own, he vowed that things would be different. The result was that from the moment she was born, he subjected his daughter Caroline to a barrage of learning.